In The Day I Became a Bird, author Ingrid Chabert perfectly captures the emotional essence of a child's first love. Ghiridi illustrates the boy's tender story with subdued, spare lines and mostly black and white with occasional flutters of humor. Sylvia is in my class. She's a bird lover. There are birds on her pants and birds on her dresses, and she wears bird barrettes in her hair. She draws birds on her notebooks and folders, and when she speaks, her voice sounds like bird song. When I look at her, I forget about everything else, but Sylvia has eyes only for birds. So one morning, I decide to dress up as a bird. Quirky and sweet, The Day I Became a Bird will have readers' hearts soaring as young love takes flight. Could monsters really exist is the terrifying yet intriguing premise of the latest book by award-winning and very funny author Helene Becker. In a completely original approach to exploring science, Monster Science places 6 different kinds of monsters under a microscope to expose the proven scientific principles behind the legends. The chapter on Frankenstein, for example, delves into how electricity and organ transplants work in the human body and whether they could really bring someone back to life, all presented in short, easy-to-read sections. With trivia and jokes and sidebars and fun quizzes at the end of every chapter for readers to test their knowledge, Becker uses the never-ending appetite for all things monster to engage the imaginations of children and get them excited about science. The just ghoulish and icky enough illustrations by Phil McAndrew are pitch perfect, oozing with child-friendly humor. Though chock full of practical science, literary references, and historical details, Monster Science's playful spirit makes it a book children will happily pick up and devour again and again. In A Squiggly Story, award-winning author Andrew Larson playfully and imaginatively explores a young child's process of learning to express himself. When a young boy watches his older sister write a story, he decides he'd like to try as well. There's a problem though. He only knows his letters and not many words. Every story starts with a single word, and every word starts with a single letter, his sister explains. Why don't you start with a letter? So the boy does. He starts with an easy one, the letter I. And from that one skinny mark on the page, the story grows. Mike Lowry's lively, fun illustrations use brightly colored story panels and easy-to-read dialogue bubbles. The boy's story is shown as he actually writes it, with just a few letters, some punctuation marks, and typographical symbols. And he soon discovers that even a squiggly story can turn into a great tale. Canada celebrates its 150th birthday in 2017, and Canada Year by Year explores the people, places, and events that have shaped the country throughout its fascinating history. Divided into 10 distinct eras, coverage ranges from politics to sports, business to arts, and includes significant events both at home and in world affairs. In 1881, the Canadian Pacific Railway was founded, and construction of a railroad connecting east to west was underway. 1932 saw the creation of Superman by a 17-year-old cartoonist named Joe Shuster. And in 1984, engineer Marc Garneau became the first Canadian to travel into space. Illustrations by award-winning artist Sydney Smith bring a contemporary feel to the stories of the past, while acclaimed author Elizabeth MacLeod's accessible text make Canada Year by Year an engaging and indispensable source for all things Canadian. In The Branch, award-winning author Mireille Messier explores a young child's experience with loss and renewal in a story richly illustrated in Pierre Pratt's signature colorful style. When an ice storm snaps a small girl's favorite branch from the tree in her yard, she is crestfallen. It's just a branch, says her mom. But to the girl, it was so much more. A spy base, a ship, her throne. Luckily, Mr. Frank next door understands, and so, with the girl's creativity and Mr. Frank's guidance and tools, the two transform the broken branch into something whole and new. The charming intergenerational relationship between the young girl and her kindly neighbor adds depth and richness to the story. Each offers something valuable to the other, while the two create another special spot the girl can call her own. On Our Way to Oyster Bay is the latest book in the Citizen Kid collection of books that help young readers understand global issues. On July 7, 1903, Irish-American labor reformer Mary Harris Jones, known as Mother Jones, led protesters on a march over 100 miles to the vacation home of President Roosevelt to denounce the use of child laborers. Told through the eyes of 8-year-old Aidan and his friend Gussie, who both work long hours in a cotton mill, On Our Way to Oyster Bay conveys the excitement of being a part of what would become a significant historical step on the move toward the first child labor laws. Author Monica Culling uses an entertaining story about fictitious characters with Felicita Sala's vibrant illustrations to bring a real event in history to vivid life. This profile of Mother Jones and her march for children's rights is an excellent introduction to the issue of child labor today, and perfect for discussions about social justice, activism, and citizenship.